Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin. We're still here for a little flip through of everything I made for the Haunted Tales challenge. That was hashtag Haunt Your Crafts. It was a collaborative challenge between myself and my good buddy Belle over at Bellaboo Creations, where we made a bunch of stuff. And it was a Gothic literature theme challenge where we went over a couple of short stories and books that were from classic Gothic literature, and we made some cool things, and you guys, people participated, and it was really fun and really cool. I had a great time. I loved everything that everybody made, and now I'm excited to share with you guys what I made. So back here is actually the back page of what I actually made, which was one of those flippity floppity envelope books. And yeah, I put the prompt list back here so that I'd have something to remember it by. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to try my best to show you guys everything and give you some, I don't know, feedback, I guess. Not feedback. Insight? No. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. You guys will know it. You'll figure it out. Because you're smart. But I'm going to share with you my experiences because some things have been learned doing this. And some things were learned that didn't need to be learned, but I took shortcuts and then had to pay the price for those inevitably. So we're going to see that. Also, I'm not using my circle ring light, and I'm hoping that cuts down on all the glare so that you guys can see the acetate effects better. Hopefully. I don't know how the lighting is going to look in this video. It might be a little bit darker than normal, but there's so much acetate in this book that it is really hard to show with the way that my lighting is currently set up. So hopefully you guys will be able to make out the images with just the one light in the way. So at any rate, ta-da, here we are. Also, before we get much deeper, I am unintentionally very wheezy. It is peak allergy season for me here in Texas, so I'm going to be wheezier than normal. Bear with me, you guys. I've already used my inhaler, and I'm still struggling, but it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. So, at any rate, book one, day one, was Carmilla, which is a story by Sheridan Le Fanu. De La Fanu? Sheridan Le Fanu. Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. That's his name. And it was a vampire story, so we did vampire-y things. And like I said, I used a lot of acetate, and this was the first one. And on this one, we did a hidden pocket, because I gave myself hidden challenges for each of the challenges, each of the prompts. And one of the ones I had was a hidden pocket. So we have this little hidden sliding pocket that's holding this little envelope, featuring an envelope from my kit, Creatures of the Night, which is available for my patrons over on Patreon. And then eventually, I think I'm going to put them in my coffee store, so you guys can pick them up over there. That's a project to work on this month. At any rate, here we go. So, lots of embossing, lots of cool stuff here. I don't know if you guys can see all the fun textures. I just love the profile of this book. Like, even from this side, there's just so much to see. It's so cool. I guess here's what this side looks like, and here's what this side looks like. And then it flips this away. I'm gonna drag it over, and here's where my laziness came to bite me in the butt, because this page came completely detached because I didn't reinforce my envelopes until about halfway through. So I paid the price for that. So yeah, it popped right off. Don't worry, I popped it right back on with a little hinge. This is a pocket. There's like another pocket from the kit. I did a bunch of red embossing, which came out really great. I love it. Here is another tuck spot. And then we have another acetate page. This one has a hand, a little skeletal hand. I don't know if you guys can see it that well. And we have a little coffin cut out. I'm not going to go over the stories and stuff because we did that in the video, so hopefully you guys watched those before you came here. And then here we have this dark, creepy forest that reveals our vampire. And then there's another tuck spot here in case I want to tuck more stuff in here. So I, for some reason, decided that this particular layout needed lots of tuck spots. And then we're on to day two, which was the yellow wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. And I made my white and black background into a yellow wallpaper. And then we have like the picture of the wife in framed. We did some gold embossing. So we have this like sort of doorway that reveals this side, which we have more acetate because I was determined to use up as much of this Michael's acetate as I possibly could. And I think I did. I used a fair chunk. And this is actually a flip out. So this is supposed to represent the girl in the wallpaper and like the looming sense of doom that comes with it. And then we have some more of our wallpaper, a little nod to arsenic and how it played a role in this time frame with infecting people's wallpapers. And then we have our main character, our female lead, getting progressively a little bit more agitated as she spends more time in the room. So now she's bored. She's become a specimen, no longer just like a lady of the house. And then here she is a little bit more disturbed behind what like you can't really see, but is like the wrinkly folds of fabric sort of effect. It kind of looks like a little bit like cracked glass. I wanted it to give, I don't know, the impression that she was under duress. And so then we have this, and this flips over so you can see that. This is like a conversation with death. Not that like death necessarily is a role in the story, but it was more of a sort of dabbling with insanity and how close death would be in that situation. And then like you can see it is a little bit loose, so this one will probably also need to get a little hinge reinforcement because it already started to tear right here. This is why you should reinforce your envelopes when you make these, especially if you're going to do a bunch of stuff on top. And then we have the bloody conclusion here, and then we are on to day 3, which is the old nurse's story. I want to call it Old Nan, and I don't know why I want to call it Old Nan, but it's the old nurse's story by Elizabeth Gaskell. Here we've got an old woman. It could be the old lady in the house, or it could just be the old nurse telling the story, with the house here in the background or in the foreground. That's on that printed acetate as well. And here was the second casualty of war, because this also severed completely and needed a little help to become one with the rest of them. This says phantasm. I use ghostly words for this because it was a ghostly story. And then we have another bit of spooky house behind the vellum, which we did some more like stamping and embossing on. This one I mixed it up so there's like black and gold all mixed in, and then I used the butterflies to represent like the spirits, the ghosts coming through. And here we have the cast out lady of the house, heavy with child. I think she already had the child, if I am recalling the story correctly, by the time she got cast out. But this worked for the story I was trying to tell here. And then we have our doors. So we got these like really cool doors that I foiled. I really love how these doors came out. I think they are so cool looking. And then it opens up to another acetate sheet, this time with an x-ray of the heart. And then underneath we have our spooky ghost child and the spooky ghost child body. And also the butterflies to tie everything in. And then we are on to day 4, which is Oscar Wilde's I'll get it picture of Dorian Gray. Okay, so we have my take on the portrait of Dorian Gray with this photo, and then this is actually a sliding up little pocket to reveal the grotesque form that this portrait has taken. I don't know how much of the details you guys are going to be able to see, but hopefully you can see some of it. And so yeah, that's underneath there. And then back here there is a pocket with a picture that I'm using to represent Basil. And then a little floating library card pocket, because that was another one of the challenges. At some point I forgot to tell you guys the challenges I was doing, and I don't know when that like fell off in my brain, but it did. So apologies. I tried to come back and like remember and label it where I remembered to label it, but I didn't always, so apologies. But we have here a picture of a fallen angel and this sort of temptation among all these bodies of the doomed. I did so much embossing on this one, I wanted to cry because I went back and did it in this like vintage gold mix that I have, and then copper as well, because copper was another prompt. And then it opens up, and we have this like gathering of well-to-do men and women chatting around while death looms near, and it says, where there is light, there is shadow, and a bunch more embossing. We did a little bit of collaging, added in these bugs to let you guys know something was not right going on here in the background. And then we got Harry up here, being his usual cantankerous self. And then we have Sybil Vane, the actress who died so tragically. So I got all the characters that I wanted to represent in the story represented. And then, wait, that's the wrong direction. That's still the wrong direction. I'll figure it out, hold on. And then we're on to the eyes, who is, oh, Edith Wharton, sorry. I know most of the people, sometimes. Actually, I'm really bad with names. I don't know, I'm trying to pretend like I do know them. We have the eyes, and we have the collection of men that our narrator has sort of run through in his time. Some more eyes. This is a little pocket. And we have this image of the youth with his eyes all bleeding to sort of reflect looking back onto our youth, which was a major theme in the story. We have a pocket, a little card here, another one of the men's. Okay, thank you. And then, yeah, we have a little flip up here with this vellum envelope, which is all nicely embossed. I really like how these eyes came out. I think they look really cool. And then we have a bigger, like, tuck spot pocket back here that we did some more of the red embossing on. And then we got some more cards to go with that. Some more gentlemen. Because, yeah, that is a thing that our narrator happened to experience quite a bit of. And you'll see I added some, like, vintage tape here. Mostly because I had a rip here. So be careful with your vellum. Because doing this quite a few times caused it to rip a little. So I added the tape in afterwards and then just popped it down here so it looked like it was all intentional and not like I was trying to correct a thing. And I probably didn't even have to mention it, but I told you guys because I like to be transparent. And then we are on to Rebecca by Daphne de Mornay. How do you pronounce it? De Maurier. I don't know why I say Mornay. I don't know where that came from. Daphne de Maurier. So we're on to Rebecca. So here we have the titular Rebecca, all sort of resplendent in death. I also just really like this quote. It says, "From my rotting body, flowers shall grow, and I am in them, and that is eternity," which I think is like very telling in the way that her presence sort of lingers over the whole house. And then back here, we have the new Mrs. De Winter, and my phone. You can see the reflection here. Trying to tilt it so you can't see me, because I was not dressed for TV. And then we have some stenciling of like eyes and women's faces to sort of show the lingering presence of Rebecca, always present. Oh, I thought something broke. It was just stuck on something. I was about to be very sad, but we have the young Mrs. De Winter, and then of course Rebecca, who has sort of an insidious nature about her, and then on the other side is her sort of still looming over the house as an imposing threat. And then we have these fine ladies in their dapper clothing, sort of representing Rebecca and Mrs. Danvers and their odd, but also should have been socially acceptable but wasn't, possible relationship that's sort of implied. I don't know, it's very complex. I'm not going to get into it here. We have Rebecca again, sort of drawn out as more of a myth, with her initials, her eyes, ever watchful, ever present. Her presence just always felt, even in the flowers here, because that was the quote I used. And then we're on to the last day, which is, of course, Frankenstein, or the Modern Prometheus, by Mary Shelley. And so then we have Frankenstein, looking so cool and so grungy. I used the embossing enamel on top of texture paste for this, and I just love how this came out. It's so tactile, and it's so cool. Try to get a good shot without the reflection in there so you guys can see. And then we have a belly band with like a little anatomical skeleton. It's a very tight belly band, but it works. Got a little card back here. Another one of those like Portraits of Death is the kit, which is also available in my Patreon shop. I don't know if I put it into the Etsy shop. That's what I was trying to remember. If it's not there, it's definitely in the Patreon shop. It's all like death-themed art and stuff like that. So then we have a little multi-pocket, which was one of the prompts. So those tucked in there. It says Table of the Skeleton here. Lots of embossing was done in the making of this book. I was shaking it out earlier and more embossing powder fell out because that's just the nature of the beast. And then we have another quote from Mary Shelley. I used all the Mary Shelley quotes I could find. I thought one was here. Oh, it's because it was back here. I didn't show you guys. This was the end of Rebecca. This is a tuck spot. Just another ghost saluting over the house. And it like tucks up in here. And then for Frankenstein, we still use the acetate. We got bugs on this one, and then it flips up. And my favorite Mary Shelley quote is here. No, it's not. This is the other one. My favorite is on the inside. You guys, why did my Amazon driver knock on my door like I owed him money? It was so scary. The way in which I just panicked. I was like, oh God, what's happening? I have to get dressed. And then he just dropped off the package and walked away. That was such an aggressive knock. So, I'm in my pajamas. I'm not, like, wildly undressed. But, you know, I'm not open the door for people dressed. Just terrified the life out of me. So, at any rate, where were we? We were here. Here's another Mary Shelley quote over this grave. And then here's another one. Where's my favorite one? Where did I hide it? We have Zeus in this pantheon dealing with the lightning. We did some more texture paste through here. Oh, I hid it right here on the very last page, which is the I have love in me, the likes of which you can scarcely imagine, and rage, the likes of which you would not believe, Mary Shelley. And that's the final page of my Haunted Tales, Haunt Your Crafts challenge envelope book. And I have a cool book now that I get to keep and hold on to and look at to remind me. And don't worry, I know I said it in the other video, but in case you didn't hear, Belle and I are doing it again. We're already talking about stories and stuff. Let me know though if there's any stories that you guys would like to see, because we can definitely add it to the list to come up in the challenge. But like I said, I had a blast doing this, and I'm just so happy that people liked it, that they shared their thoughts, and some people had like gotten familiar with the stories, other people read the stories, and it was just a fun, like a little tiny mini challenge to carry us into the last half of the year, which we know is the spookiest half of the year. And hey baby, did the knocking scare you too? You were sleeping. Oh my gosh, Nico came out. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me for now, you guys. I will catch you all in the next one. Definitely stay tuned. There's more stuff coming up to the channel. And until next time, guys, happy crafting and goodbye.